what Robinhood itself has, about 1.3 billion in alts. And if you exclude some of these and then you minus and you do some simple math, they have roughly about 600 million. So did they just dump themselves, or did all their retail people dump? Did the hedge funds or money makers that are connected to them dump? Probably. I mean, everyone dumped, it seemed like today, right? On top of a weak market already. So that is, I believe, what happened. It's pretty clear. And here's the thing. If you look at total exchange transaction volumes, right now, it's higher than when FTX collapsed. So you can make an argument that, yeah, right now it's worse than the FTX implosion, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. FTX implosion was bad, yes, and it came at the worst time for crypto, which was back in November of 2022, right? But despite that, right now, we're seeing more panic on the exchanges than even FTX collapse. So that's just wild if you think about it, real wild, right? Clear Vision said, why didn't they delist sheep? That's a good question. You know, Robinhood, they delist all the good ones, but then they don't delist like SHIB or Doge, right? Why? Because that's how they make their money. Because most of their trading volume is on Doge and SHIB, not on Solana, Matic, and Cardano. So they obviously don't care about the community, right? And they're just in it to make money, and they're going to protect their bags with Doge and SHIB. And then they're ditching everything else, right? Not like Coinbase, not like Binance. They both are fighting it out as much as they can at this time, right? But that's a good question. But here's the thing to remember. You got some legal experts weighing in, and I think most of you guys know this. Just because Gary Gensler declares something does not mean that it is true, okay? Someone in here said it best. There was a good quote from one of these guys that I lost. But I'll paraphrase. Basically, he's saying Gary makes accusations, does not make them true. The courts will decide if it's true. He's making accusations based on his own interpretation, right? And that is why Coinbase and Binance are both not doing anything, because they're like, well, basically you have to prove it, right? You have to prove it, and we're going to fight. We're going to fight to the nail, and we'll see who wins, right? But I mean, even Congress people, even Congress itself is questioning what Gary is doing these days. I mean, they really don't know. You look at some of these guys, these senators, they're coming on. They're like, we have no idea what Gary's doing. It's the Wild West right now. He's just doing whatever he wants while they're trying to create a framework. The U.S. is trying to create a framework for crypto. They're trying to make it so that, yes, there's regulations, but it doesn't hinder innovation, because we don't want to be the only country out there in the world that has no crypto innovation while everyone else does and then runs wild with it, and we get stuck in the Stone Ages. No one wants to see that happen. That's why a framework is being built. But while that's being built, Gary's just throwing all these accusations around, trying to make it so that there is no innovation. He even said it himself. He does not believe the U.S. needs any cryptocurrencies at all. So, you know, he's basically trying to override Congress, even though he says he's following the laws of Congress, right? No, he's trying to make his own rules right now. It's just a matter of time this guy gets thrown out. But right now, he's causing a whole lot of FUD. You know, as for why Matic is down 26%, worse than even Solana Avalanche, is because you have millions upon millions sent to Binance and Coinbase ahead of the slide. So again, who sent it? No one knows, right? Obviously, big whales could be market makers, could be institutions, right? You got a lot of people that are very panicked right now, and they're just like dumping it all. That's exactly what happened, right? Here's another one, Cumberland. I don't know if they're like a market maker, but they just dumped 9 million in Matic, and yeah, they dumped 14 million Matic everywhere. I mean, so there's a lot of these guys that are just really panicked over what SEC is doing in the U.S. Maybe this is the intent all along from Gary, right? To protect the banks, first of all, protect the banks, protect the Fed, try to pave way for a new CBDC, and protect his job. You see, maybe losing that Ripple lawsuit in the near future, right? So a combination of things. One thing's for certain, he's not looking out for the average consumer. He always claims, I'm looking out for consumers. Today, he probably wrecked more consumers than ever in the history of crypto. If you look at a dollar amount, it's wild. It's wild. But as for Polygon itself, in case you guys are wondering, Polygon is still one of my favorite L2s, L1s, L2s. You still have so much happening. Mark Cuban is going to release his book on Polygon. Polygon's active address and volume is increasing. You got tons of brands that's on top of it and still coming to it. They're growing their gaming ecosystem out. So there's still a lot of goodness on Polygon. IOG, Charles Hutchinson, everyone in the Cardano community also saying the same thing. We're not a security. We've never been a security, right? And it sucks for Cardano because Cardano is making good inroads recently, getting exciting because of meme coins like Snack. But now that kind of all gone away again because they are deemed as a security. And it just really sucks. Like the life was just sucked out of it once again. Good stuff. And then lastly, Vitalik. Vitalik says there's 3 important things that he needs to work on or Ethereum is going to fail. Ethereum right now, still not a security. Even though Gary has declared everything else a security, did not declare Ethereum security. Interesting. And Ethereum has held relatively well compared to the dips that other has seen. But what is he talking about? What 3 important things he needs to solve? Well, that's pretty easy. Number 1 is scaling. They need to figure out how to scale. Because right now Ethereum gas fees still somewhat high. Will get higher in the next bull market and can't be like this forever or dApps are just going to move away. Right? Also privacy. He thinks privacy is important because people are not just storing their wallet address, but also storing a lot of info about themselves. So he believes privacy and scaling could both come from ZK rollups. And another one is smart contract wallets, which I never really hear about, but this has something to do with taking multiple addresses at once. So I guess flipping through addresses or something like that. I don't actually know what the problem is with smart contract wallets, but layer 2 scaling obviously is a big deal. That's why you have Arbitrum that's so big, Optimism, ZK Sync, and why you have Polygon so big and all these other ones, all these L2s out there because Ethereum still can't scale.